Jim Rohn once said that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Now, many people will deny this fact, but research shows that we are much more affected by our environment and those around us than we would like to believe. The people around you matter. There's an old proverb that reads, "Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are." While these statements aren't entirely true for everyone, and we firmly believe that you can and should outperform everyone around you, it is true to some extent. It is true based on the law of averages and logic, which assumes you surround yourself with intention, either the intention to remain the same or the intention to push yourself to another level. If we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, what if those 5 people we spend the most time with have no ambition? What if they are dragging us down? How can we get around this statistic? Find a coach or mentor. Find many coaches and many mentors. See, this also applies to the people you spend time with in learning. If you listen to audio tapes or read books from great teachers on a daily basis, you are effectively spending time with them and they are influencing your life as well. Many entrepreneurs aim to be the smartest person in the room at all times. They want to be the most significant. They want to be the most successful, the hardest worker in the room. But if you're always the best in the room, you won't grow. And if you aren't growing, you're dying. You must always surround yourself with those who are better than you in some way. Those who you can learn from in some way. That is how you get better. Just like great competition brings out the best in great athletes, great people bring out the best in you.
Surround yourself with winners. Surround yourself with people that have things you want. With people that will force you to raise your own game. With people that will help push you forward. Not because they will give you handouts, but because seeing them live life at a higher level will force you to get there yourself. Not because they will only ever be positive with you, but because they will always be straight with you. Winners don't like hanging around with losers. You have to be on top of your game to play at the top.
They say surround yourself with 9 losers and you'll soon be the 10th. Getting comfortable is the worst thing you can do if you ever want to achieve anything of significance in life. The comfort zone is great if you're happy to settle for less than you can be. It's not great if you want to reach your true potential in life. Get around those who are hungry. Get around those who want to leave their mark in this world. Those who want to make a difference in this world. They say misery loves company. Well, so does success. Success loves successful company. There's just less to choose from. And there's nothing better than getting together with a group of winners and winning.
If someone has the fitness, health, and body you want, get around that person or more people like that, and soon their standards will become yours. If someone has the wealth, business, happiness, or life you want, get around those people. Get around the people that are living at a higher level than you. Get around those that have the wealth, home, happiness, relationships, and life you want more of. Get in alignment with success by surrounding yourself with only those living at the highest level. The people in your life will either inspire you or drain you. Choose carefully.
The people in your life will either inspire you to be greater than you are or drain the life out of you. Choose carefully. Get in chat rooms or communities where others share the same ambitions, but do not expect positive changes in your life if you surround yourself with negative people.
If you are only hanging around people who drag you down, those people who can always find a reason why it can't be done, that will also become your reality. You will never see a successful person hanging around a dream killer. If you want success, hang around dream chasers. Find someone that is doing what you want to do. Follow them, consume their material, read their books, listen, and learn. The more you learn from these people, the more you will become like these people. Now, you might have to cut some negativity out of your life, and it won't be easy. But what do you want from your life? Negativity is a virus. You must get it out of your life. Otherwise, you will be the one that suffers in the end.
Wow. I found that one during the week. I do like a good motivational video. Just going to play out the last bit of the music now. But I do like a good motivational video, and I found that one during the course of this week. And for me, what it said, it actually sums up what the toolbox is. So for toolboxes out there, by the way, we're broadcasting into 3 locations at the moment. We're broadcasting into the Toolbox membership sites. Those are our Toolbox members. Then we have the S.P.A.R.K.S group, and in that group are people who are, I guess, aspiring Toolbox members, and some of the Toolbox members are in there as well. And then we're out onto the public face of the Toolbox, which is the James Marketing Toolbox Facebook page. But what that video summed up for me this week when I came across it was the environment that we've created inside of the Toolbox, where there are a lot of I'm going to say tradespeople, because it's not just electricians that are in there. I mean, primarily it is electricians, but we also have heating engineers, we've got plumbers, we've got gardener, we've got an arborer, we've got locksmith, and a number of other different trades in there. But it sums up a group of people who are working not just to help themselves, but to help one another to grow their business. And it's very true that if you hang around the right kind of people, they will only push you forward. They will only drive you forward. And we can see in some of the other Facebook groups that are out there across the net, not singling out any particular group, but some of the Facebook groups that are out there across the net that cater for business people, tradespeople, and so on and so forth. A lot of the negativity that goes on in there, and a lot of the language and the way people are talking down about not only their customers, which is a really bad thing, to frame your customer in a negative light, in my view, is a poor way to carry out business. But also then talking about other people within your trade and within your industry in a negative light. It says much more about you than it does about them. If you're constantly putting other people down and talking poorly or badly about their work. Look, if somebody's creating bad workmanship, then help them to raise their level. Show them how to do it. Show them how to make a better person of themselves. Don't ridicule them. Don't knock them. Don't. Of course, if there's a bad person, as in a cowboy out there who is genuinely just out there to rip people off, then by all means, the spotlight needs to be put on them. But if somebody is trying and they're just making errors and they're making mistakes and they're trying to get themselves up to a standard, then don't kick them down. Don't push them down when they are struggling, when they're asking genuine questions, when they're looking for some serious help to help them improve, which is what we see in some other groups and sites out there on the web. But in the Toolbox, we don't have that. What we have are people who are supporting one another, helping one another, and growing together. So that struck a chord with me this week. Right, okay, it's Saturday. It is our Toolbox Talk. Toolbox Talk is an opportunity for toolboxers to come together on a Saturday, have a bit of an update on where they are with the week, what's been going on for them, and then we have a number of different features over different Saturdays. So we have our book review, we have our expert Q&A, we have what else have we got? We got the panel. We got general chit chat, and of course this week we have member spotlight, and our member spotlight this week is on Matt Orton, who stood in for a very short notice, I have to say, for Colleen. It was due to be Colleen this week, but unfortunately due to illness in the family, she's unable to do this. So I will say a big thank you to Matthew as well, and we're going to bring Matt on very shortly to do his spotlight and to sit in the hot seat and be questioned by myself and of course you as well. But before that, what I want to do is go through some of the regular bits and pieces that we cover off on the Toolbox Talk. So first thing is, and you should all be aware of this by now, and this is for members and non-members alike, post your win of this week. Let's start this off on a very positive basis. Post your win of the week. So what's the one thing that you can say this week has been a win for you? So we do hashtag win. If you're new to this broadcast, we do hashtag win and then just promote or say what your win of the week is. Is it a big job that you've won? Is it a big quote you've managed to get out? Is it something in your personal life? Have you managed to lose some weight? Have you managed to get out and about and do some stuff that you've been planning to do? Have you started up a new hobby? What's your big win of the week? What can you claim this week and say, you know what, yeah, that's made this a week that's been worthwhile. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go over and just have a quick look at the comments, you guys joining in this morning. So good morning to, I know it's Kevin Doy, but Kevin, you're coming up as Facebook user. Please go and click on your StreamYard link. You know how to do that, my friend. Anybody else who's not aware, there's a link just above or beside the video, depending on what device you're watching it on. There's a link that says StreamYard/Facebook.com or something like that. Click on that and then I'll be able to see who it is that is making the comments. So morning Kevin, good morning Steve Oakey's joined us, Mark Butterwood is there, and Kevin saying he's noticed that there's a delay. Well, let's have a look at this. There's a 2-second delay on Safari, 15-second delay on Chrome, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, well we know. We know there's always when you're live casting, there's always going to be a delay, but yes, you are right, you've got too much time on your hands to be working all of that out, and of course some of the devices or platforms will have longer or shorter delays depending on what platform you're on. Let me just turn off that scrolling banner for a second. There we go. So well done for working that out, Kevin. Morning Lawrence has joined us. Taz is out there. Good morning to you, sir. Neil Bartham has joined us. Colin is there. Colin, I hope everybody in the family is well at the moment. And your win of the week, you just won a 62,000 project this week. Well done. Worth putting the effort into that. Erez has joined us. Erez joining us all the way from Israel. And he's had his second COVID shot already. Well done to you, mates. They're really moving out there then, aren't they? Getting the ball rolling. I understand, and I stand to be corrected, so don't take this as an official statement, but I understand that people over the age of 40 have been brought forward now, and that we will be done by the end of March. Anybody over the age of 40 apparently will be done by the end of March. And last announcement, I believe, before that was it was going to be May. So they do seem to be moving at quite a pace, getting this lot done, which is great. Hopefully it'll start to open up the country and get things back to normal, regardless of what you think about COVID or vaccines or anything else. The good thing is that the world will start to get back to a level of normality once they get these things rolled out. Adam Sedrington, hang on a second, here we go. I believe I'm at a pressure point that I'm about to break through, which will push my business to the next level. Excellent. It would be interesting if you could expand on that. That would be nice. But yeah, good stuff. And it's nice to identify that pressure isn't always a bad thing, that sometimes pressure can be a good thing. And that when we sort of step beyond that, we sort of break out of a comfort area, it can often prove to be growth and development in a good way. Lawrence, a win. I've been invited to quote for remedials for an EICR, which he did last Saturday. 48 observations and 6 boards, is that? But yeah, excellent. Well done you. Steve Oakey, win. How-to videos recorded. 3 how-to videos recorded this week. Just need to edit them. Excellent. Well, crack on with the editing, mate. They're great to have them recorded. Now you need to get them up there and working for you. Kevin, yes, I can now see your name. Excellent. Well done, mate. Taz, win. New windows are in both bays, 6 and 4 mil toughened acoustic glass, world of difference in the heat and noise, sills and painting doors. Earned my cuppa, treat for the weekend, wishing you good health. Excellent, well done Taz, glad you got that sorted. Erez, we're almost over. Yeah, we are. We're on the verges of the world as a whole. We're on the verges of knocking this thing out of the ballpark. So, hopefully soon we'll be back to the one thing I want to do. The one thing I want to do is go on a freaking holiday. Actually, no, that's not true. Do you know what? One of the things I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks, if I could just do that, would be a blessing. And let's go for a swim. I just want to go for a swim. Yeah, and I can't, and I have no friends who have swimming pools, so I'll be looking forward to that. But then after that, the next big thing I want to do is go on a nice holiday with a bit of beach and sunshine. Cool. Neil Galt, good morning to you. Recorded a loss of 4K. All right, okay, so you're classing that as a win. Works fan, which means no tax. Phew, I was wondering where that was going. Excellent. Cool stuff. Where are we? Kevin Doy, win. Started doing posts on Facebook again. Good stuff, mate. Keep it up. Keep it up. You know yourself that doing them regularly will help to increase the relevancy, which obviously will help to increase your your stature on Facebook. What else have we got here? Adam Sedrington, I've got 2 subcontractors on board since January, taking on an apprentice in March. Excellent, all good growth. Getting a VA team to run the day-to-day operations, loving that. It's been a slog getting sorted, but nearly there. Then I can release some time for myself and concentrate on marketing and streamline. Excellent stuff, mate. It seems like it's all moving in the right direction. Perfect. Taz been elected a councillor. Can I please highlight that having had the vaccination does not mean you cannot get the virus and be a carrier to pass on to others. Please still be extremely careful. Yeah, absolutely, Taz. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think many of us are fully aware of that. That even though you have the vaccine, it doesn't stop you carrying it. And it's one of the reasons why they're being slow about this this opening up of the lockdown. And in fact, my ex-wife's grandmother, who is she's 97 next week. She had been vaccinated and still got COVID, sort of like, I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks after being vaccinated, she actually caught COVID. Now, thankfully, she's recovered from COVID, so she's no longer suffering with COVID, but she is at 97. She is still in a poorly state of health. But yeah, the very fact that she was vaccinated didn't stop her from actually catching it, and it doesn't stop you from transmitting it as well. So yeah, well pointed out, Taz. Yeah, Erez, we'll get together and do some scuba diving off of the island of Crete, my friend. That would be very nice. Love it. Fred Woolley's missing swimming as well. Colin is classing this one as a win, I think. Magnus slept last night. Yes. He's able to breathe much better this morning. Other win for me this week. We no longer have to worry about catching COVID. Yeah, because the whole family, from just to update people, and this is one of the reasons why Colin is not doing the member spotlight this week. The whole family came down with it, so at least you've got that burden out of the way. Although, not to put a damper on it, although they haven't yet proven that you can't get it a second time, but at least if you've had it, there'll be immunity, there'll be some stuff going through the system, which means even if it did come again, it's likely to be less of a worry, less of a threat. Excellent stuff. Neil Brown, I'm loving this one, my friend. Win 50 days sober. Well done, you. Excellent. Cool. Well, some really good wins there this week, guys. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to crack on with some of the other things that I've pulled down out of the toolbox because I want to get quickly to Matt. I can see he's sitting there in the back room waiting to answer these questions and tell us a little bit about himself. But let me crack on through the some of these other bits that I've pulled down out of the site. Let me just bring this up on full slide. I'm going to take a sip of my tea for a second. So this is the post from Mitchell about leaflet distribution. Now, guys from the toolbox, of course, will understand what I'm talking about here. First and foremost, before you distribute any leaflets at all, please make sure you do watch the training inside of the toolbox, because we know that so many people have distributed and done leaflet campaigns and get really poor or really bad results from them. And the reason for that is because they're not doing it the right way. When you do it the right way and you follow the correct strategy, then you get really good results from this. But having said that, the issue that Mitchell was having is finding the right people to distribute. Now, I'm not going to go into the why-fors and wherefores, whether this person actually did the distribution or not within the 48-minute window. The likelihood is that they didn't. That's not the reason for this post. The reason for this post is that some people give up very early on trying to find leaflet distributors because of instances like this. They'll meet 1 or 2 or 3 people who play the game wrong, do the wrong thing, dump leaflets, chuck them in bins, don't distribute them, don't come back to you, and that type of thing. And the unfortunate thing of looking for good leaflet distributors is that you are going to have to put up with this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, now, a number of the members find people off the bat. They find people straight away, which is great. But unfortunately, that's not always the way. unfortunately, there are people out there who will, they'll say that they want to do the job. They'll be looking to get paid for the job, but then when they realize what the job is, they shirk it. They either bin the leaflets, or they sit at home, don't do them, tell you that they've done them, or they just turn their back on it and don't come back to you, and you've lost 1,000 leaflets. That's one of the reasons why we say give them out in small batches rather than giving them out in huge batches to these people to distribute. But my feeling is, and my advice is, persevere until you get the right person, because there is the right person for you in your local area is out there. And unfortunately, quite often, from what I've discovered, is it's not an organization, it's not a company who claim to do leaflet drops or leaflet distribution. They are often only interested in doing multi-drops, which is not the strategy that we use. Toolboxers will know what I'm talking about. So looking for independent people to do it and offering the right kind of money for those people to distribute the leaflets for you, and then taking your time to interview properly, to seek out the right kind of person, to get the right kind of person, is going to pay you huge dividends in the long run. There is, within the member area, within the member Facebook group, there is a posting that was created by Steve Palmer, which helps you to advertise in your local community, whether you're doing it on a local buy and sell group, or you're up your street or next door, or any of those groups. It helps you to promote and advertise for the right kind of person and to attract the right kind of person to do this. And I know a lot of the guys have had some really good results with that. And if you get a number of people replying, the mistake you could make is just to choose one or two of those to actually distribute your leaflets. Your best bet is to choose as many as you can possibly afford to distribute the leaflets, and then whittle it down to the ones that will stick with you, because they won't all, as I said, because of the very nature of what the role is, many of them will shirk it, and you've just got to persist. So hopefully that helps with that. The next one that we had up in the group was a realization from Kevin about Which Trusted Trader. Now, we've been talking about Which Trusted Trader within the toolbox for a number of years now, almost since the Trusted Trader category became available with Which, because Which, being a household name, is recognized by pretty much everybody in the UK because they are a consumer champion. And the thing to recognize with Which, or to understand with Which, is you don't join it as a tradesperson, as an electrician. You don't join it to get work. I know that sounds daft, doesn't it? You don't join it to get work. So the object isn't as a lead generation. It's not in order for Which to provide you with work. What it is it's a method of converting leads into work. And that's because it's recognized as a trusted name. And if you are registered with Which Trusted Trader, and push comes to shove and everything else is equal, then the price was equal, the level of skill is equal, all of that within the community is equal, and you've got the Which Trusted Trader badge, and you can say to the customer, you can allude to the customer that as a Which Trusted Trader they are better protected, then that's going to help you a lot more. And as I certainly know as an NIC member, that there's very little that you have to do in order to get your Which Trusted Trader status, because they actually use the same strategy, or the same metrics to measure you as they do in the NIC. So it's pretty easy to get your registration. But I would also suggest that, apart from Which Trusted Trader, another organization to look at seriously is the Federation of Small Business. And again, not because the Federation of Small Business will bring you in work, but it's because of what it actually stands for and where you can actually get support and help from this organization. Many people from time to time ask about legal advice or recruitment advice and such like, and then end up having to go away and pay for that advice. Whereas as a registered member of the Federation of Small Business, you can quite often get that kind of help and assistance for free. So two organizations I think that are worthy of your attention and worth looking at. Now, on the same vein, Colin did post during the week as well, I think it was yesterday, about trading standards. and about having to have terms and conditions. And totally correct, you do legally have to have terms and conditions. But I caution you to be very careful when you are writing your terms and conditions, because there are organizations out there and there are trainings out there that will try and teach you to have complex and complicated terms and conditions and use your terms and conditions to protect you a lot. The truth of it is, your terms and conditions are there to protect both your customer and you. They're not just there to protect you, and they're certainly not just there to protect your customer. However, you do not want to make your terms and conditions complicated, overdrawn, or too complex for customers to actually understand, or too protective that customers go, well, you know, I don't know what you're saying there, so I'm not going to be interested in that. You want to keep your terms and conditions as simple as possible. Now, I know that Colin also attached to that the consumer regulations, so please don't mix up the two. There's a big difference between the consumer regulations and your terms and conditions. Your terms and conditions should fit within consumer regulations, but the consumer regulations are a lengthy document, and there are various different sections and subsections for different services or different provisions within any retail sector, whether you're providing a service or a product. So you need to be aware of it, and you need to be aware of where you sit within it, but you don't have to include every element of it in your written terms and conditions. So my advice as far as terms and conditions is very simply, say what you're going to do and then do what you're going to say. But remember, you set your terms and conditions. So if your terms are payment on completion, then those are your terms. If your terms are payment within 7 days, then those are your terms. If your terms are, you will not carry out work until a deposit has been paid, then that is your terms, and nobody can tell you any different. So make sure that you work out your terms, but keep them in line with the consumer regulations. Hopefully that's making sense. But you don't necessarily need to adopt within your terms and conditions all of the consumer regulations, because they're statutory regulations and will stand anyway. So you don't have to state them all within your terms and conditions. So last thing on this is a couple of tips, piece of advice to avoid having any kind of conflict with your customers, which is why most of us have these terms and conditions and why customers refer back to consumer regulations and everything. And my view is, if you adopt these simple guidelines, then you are less likely to end up in trouble or controversy with your customers anyway. And we can, of course, go into this in more detail on a Monday Q&A or a Wake Up Wednesday at some point. But first and foremost, set out all of your terms of the contract in writing. So whatever the project is, set out what your terms are for that in writing. Make it plain English. Don't try and hide behind freaking corporate or legal jargon, and don't have any kind of hidden clauses in there at all. Make it very clear what your terms are. Whether you're talking about dealing with extras, whether you're talking about deposits, whether you're talking about the length of time it's going to take to complete the project. Brush up on your legalities for the service that you offer. So make sure basically that you can offer what you're offering. If you are a domestic installer, then understand and know where your limits are. If you are qualified to issue EICR certificates and everything, just make sure that what you're doing fits within the law. Very simple, very plain. Give a written quotation with a breakdown of costs. Now, when I say a breakdown of costs, I do not mean itemize costs, but I do think that in most cases on any project, you give a project cost with labor plus materials, full stop. I would not and don't see that anybody should be able to force you into breaking down individual costs, unless that happens to be an arrangement that you have with a particular builder that you're working with. Your statutory breakdown should be materials plus costs. You don't need to go down into every single item that you are providing inside of the project. Agree a reasonable timescale. That's very simple, straightforward. Use quality products for your install. Now, again, more increasingly, we hear people talking about the customer wanting to provide their own materials. Look, bottom line is, when you're providing the materials, make sure that you're providing proper, reasonable brand of products, good quality brand of products. If the customer wants to provide them, then I would suggest, if that's the way you operate, and I'm not going to tell you that's how you should or you should not operate. Each person can operate to their own. I know how I feel about it. But if you are going to let customers provide materials, then at least give them a specification of the type of material you expect to see for the project, and then let them crack on if they wish to. And also make it clear what is covered under your warranty if they are providing materials as well. Next thing then you want to look at is communicating any changes in the project. This is where a lot of disputes actually occur. It's when something changes on the project and there's an extra, something added on, and the customer says, can you do this? And you go, yeah, I can. And then at the end of the project, you hand them an invoice for the extra, and they go, well, I thought you were just doing it because it was there. Make sure that all of these things are cleared up as the project moves along. So any changes, any alterations in cost, price, time, make sure that that is passed on to the customer and that they're aware of it. All of these things above are going to help save you having arguments at the end of a project. At the end of the job, get the customer to inspect it and get them to sign off on it. Now, that could be as simple as, an email. It doesn't have to be a great formal document saying I sign off on the work and I'm happy with this, 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 and this. It could be as simple as an email at the end of the job saying we've completed the project today, blah, blah, blah. Are you happy with everything so far? Just get a confirmation from them. And if they're not, then resolve any problems that they have. Don't be afraid to go back and resolve issues that may have been done by you or your staff or by materials that you have installed. Don't get defensive about it. Just deal with it. And then provide an insurance-backed guarantee. And again, any of you who are registered with any of the awarding bodies will be doing this anyway. But for those of you who are not in the electrical trade, make sure that you're providing some form of a guarantee, and preferably an insurance-backed guarantee as well. That protects the customer and helps you also. So those are some little tips on avoiding disputes or conflicts over any kind of customer complaint or customer issue. Hopefully they help. Like I said, I can go into some more detail on that on one of our Wednesday morning trainings or one of our Monday evening Q&As. So what we're going to do now is pop across to Matt for our member spotlight. Before we do that, I just want to quickly go back down through your comments and questions and see what else has been added since then, and then we're going to pop over to Matt. Kevin Doy, yeah, forgot, what was that? Forgot, taking on VA, PA as office manager, accounts are also another VA for contract supervisor quoting. Excellent, good. So Mark Butterworth, win. Posted my first small business Saturday recommendation last Saturday. Sorry, posted my first small business Saturday recommendation last Saturday. Post engagement was much more than, Facebook post, right? Post engagement was much more than other posts and had quite a few page likes. Excellent, good. Dwayne is changing to Sim Pro, I guess from ServiceMate. He's changing over to Sim Pro. I think you've mentioned that in the group this last couple of days as well. Then Taz, as a counsellor, we find many fast food leaflets dumped. We now find, hang on a second. We now find businesses as our view as it's with waste collection services. It's the responsibility lies in the business owner. Due diligence certificate required. Leaflets. Yeah, okay, Taz, thanks for that. And of course, anybody who's distributing leaflets should be doing it in a responsible, very responsible manner. Mark Butterworth, created a simple bright image in Canva with my logo in the bottom left. This was to go on each post to link each one together. I then contacted a load of local businesses, from other tradespeople to small baking companies, etc., said that it is appreciated if they share my post. However, I won't be upset if they don't. So far, everyone I asked said yes to share my post as well. Last week, shared on his personal page and business page. Excellent, Mark. And the only thing I would do to add to that is say, you do that in reciprocation for them as well. So go out of your way to find where they have and when they have posted, and make sure that you share and like their posts and comment on their posts as well. Well done. Kevin Doy here. Look, I'm actually in the FSB, but don't tell anyone. Yeah, exactly, Muppet. Mate, when you have registrations like that with Which Trusted Trader or the Federation of Small Business and NIC, NAPIT and all of that, you need to be making a big issue out of it. And I know, you know, there are some people who they have these registrations and statutory registrations like their awarding body and so on and so forth, and they don't make any noise about it. And the problem is that it can actually help to make you stand out with a customer. And yes, people would say, oh yeah, but everybody's registered. That's true, but not everybody's making big noise about it. So when you make big noise about it, it actually alerts the customer to the fact that you stand out slightly more than somebody else. Cool. So Kevin says, if you join Which, they provide examples, but yeah, this terms and conditions and stuff, absolutely. But remember, even though they provide samples and templates, it's your business. You're responsible for your templates and stuff, your terms and conditions. Yeah, so Colin's just saying that the post came from another post was Trading Standards, asked for regulations while I looked into it. And yeah, no, absolutely. And well done for raising it. It is something that everybody needs to be aware of. All I'm simply saying is, you know, I don't want everybody going away and getting confused with the regulations and their terms and conditions, and making sure that they know that one fits into the other. Absolutely cool. Well done. Right. Okay. Let's get across to Matt. Sorry about that, Matt. It's been a bit of a long-winded introduction. Now, Matt has been a member for how long now?
About 5 months, 4 or 5 months.
Excellent. So you're still a relatively new member into the toolbox.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do this morning, Matt, and the floor will be open to members in a little while, but what we're going to do first of all is I'm going to ask you to give us a brief introduction about yourself and tell us a little bit about who is Matt and what makes Matt tick. You know, what brought you into the industry? Why are you doing what you do today? What are your hobbies and interests? What's the family situation? So just give us a broad overview of that. Then I have a list of, you've seen this done before, I have a list of 20 questions, out of which depending on time, we will pick between 6 or 8 questions to ask you, and we'll do that randomly with you picking numbers, and then I will grab the question based on that number, just so that people know. Bear with me 1 second, just so that people know I am not making the questions up. I will just post them up on screen now very quickly. Turn your back, Matt. You're not allowed to see these because you're going to pick these at random. So those are the questions that I will be asking Matt. He will get to pick the number of the question, and I will ask the question. So that's what we'll do. And then once we've done that, we'll open the floor and see if any of the members have any questions that they would like to ask you. And then supplementary to that, if any of the non-members, so please do feel free to get involved as a viewer rather than a member of the toolbox, then please feel free to get involved and ask Matt any questions that you might want to ask as well. So Matt, over to you. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what makes you tick.
I'm Matt, 38, from Rotherham, a lot of us already, and originally from Sheffield, married with 3 children. I've been in the electrical game for around 21 years and approved JRB for around 4 years. I left school, just did rubbish jobs for a while. Then my friend's dad had his own company, electrical company. He then took me on, stayed with him for a year. Then it was all working away. So went from all being local to then working away. Then a national company, NG Bailey's, were working local to me. I had a friend who worked there. They took me on, stayed there for 4 years just because it was working at home. Then originally went back to my original employer when he came local. Then my little boy became poorly. He had meningitis, and then he developed kidney problems. He got something called nephrotic syndrome, which meant we spent a lot of time in hospital on dialysis. So it made working away and everything else just a lot harder. So then it was like, now time to grow up. Let's get qualified to run my own business, just so I was local, so I was in control of where I were, what I worked, stuff like that. So before all that happened, I started a Facebook page up my own, just to get little bits of work in, knowing in my mind that eventually I wanted to do it. So when I did it, I had a base to go to. So got qualified, then carried on working, did my electrical testing, stuff like that. Ran a big job, which were way out of my depth. Started on a job and then went just there to work as a normal electrician. And 2 months later, I was running 18 men on a big job. I were out of my depth, but the companies I was working for were way, way, way out of their depth. And it was just, that's when I had to grow up, learned a lot about myself. Then went to another company working for BT. And then lockdown hit. And then it was just a case of it's now or never time. So we had 12 weeks off because my little boy was shielded, because by this time he'd had a transplant. So he was shielded, so just 12 weeks, all in the house, just trying to get on with life. So it was then I just started marketing my business, reading different things. So working on my business then, and then joined the ToolBox. I think I did one challenge, one of the free challenges, which was the Facebook challenge. Then I was interested, and then started following a few of the companies and a few of the people who was actually in the ToolBox, started following their businesses, see what they were doing, and so liked it. And then I think it was the Google My Business challenge. Did that.
Yeah.
Then I can remember doing that, and then in one of the tasks, it was a video challenge where you had to introduce yourself, and that was way, way, way out my comfort zone with that. Like, hated every minute of it. I can remember sitting out in van on my housing estate. It's a new housing estate, and I must have been sat there an hour, and I must have done it. I got a script, and knowing now what I know at ToolBox, you don't script it. But I took absolutely ages to do it, and then posted it, and then that got quite a good reaction on Google My Business, and then that were the time I just thought, well, I've got to invest in myself. There's no point winging it, because you see so many people winging it, and I just thought, just get a go, and there were no pressure. That I can remember what stuck in my mind. I can remember contacting you, James, about 2 years ago, and it were about your book. And I can remember you sent me a book out, and it was completely free, postage, everything, and that stuck in my mind. So yeah, and here I'm now. I work 4 days, and then I have a quoting day. Because one of the best things I learned about enjoying is the doctor's diary, because my diary just used to be absolutely all over the place. I'd have people phoning me saying, I've got a quote, what time are you coming? And I'd like look at my diary, and I just think it looked like a 5-year-old boy had written it in diary. It was ridiculous. So now with doctor's diary, it's all in the calendar. So it's all that side of it has completely changed.
Excellent. Just to be very clear, so you started your business in lockdown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally in lockdown. So I've never known my business to be in normal times, which will. So people say, oh, what it's going to be like when it opens back up and stuff like that. I don't know what my business will be like, because there's so many different things what can happen.
Yeah, and during lockdown, I'm saying this, I mean, toolboxers will know this, they'll be aware of all of this, but I'm saying this for the benefit of people outside of the toolbox, the non-members who are watching us here at the moment. So you started it in lockdown and you are getting business.
I'm booked up. I've got a 3-week waiting list for quotes, because I have every Wednesday. I probably do anything between 8 and 12 quotes on a Wednesday. And I think I've got a 2-week waiting list for work, and then a 3-week waiting list for actual quotes. And they're all within, sometimes I don't even leave my estate, which is not a big estate. But there's odd times I go for, but I'd say most of my work is within a 5 or 10 minute drive. The longest I have to travel is to the wholesalers.
Yeah, and as we said, one of the strategies within the toolbox is to have your business operate within a 15 to 20 mile radius of where you actually live. And we know that many of the toolboxes are down even a lot tighter than that, sort of 5-10 miles. So yeah, well done. I've just seen a post from Mark, which I'm going to address right now. Mark says, can anybody expand on the doctor's diary? Yes, Mark. I will do another Wake Up Wednesday on it soon. I'm not going to expand on it here on a Saturday, because this is an open group where we're broadcasting on the page and the free group. And the doctor's diary strategy is a strategy that we teach to members. So absolutely, Mark. And if you want to, again, book in a call with me, if you can't wait until we do the Wednesday morning training session, then book in a call with me and I'll go through it in brief with you anyway. But hopefully that answers that question. The other thing that was interesting that you mentioned just a minute ago, Matt, was that when you came on for the Google My Business Challenge and the video, the day that we did the video part of that task, if I put my hand up now, I have to say that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. And you're thinking, why? If you realize, and everybody should realize, we're all adults and we're all grown up about this. Yeah, I run those challenges in order to introduce people to the toolbox and to get new members on board. That's why I run the challenges. Yes, we give a huge amount of value. I think you would agree to that. We give a huge amount of value, and nobody forces you to join the toolbox, and you will go from end to end on any of these challenges and you will learn that strategy end to end. Yeah. But we had something like 107. No, we had 240 something people register for the challenge. Now, out of that, not everybody gets involved. So you tend to get, once they've registered for the challenge, you'll get maybe 100 or so, 120 or so who will actually join in and get involved with the challenge. And then on a nightly basis, you normally have about 50 people who will show up for the live presentations where we do the teaching and the question and answer and that. And then the rest of people catch up on the replay afterwards. And each of the tasks that people get asked to do, we try and simplify the task so that people can get them done, as you know, within a half an hour or so. And the Wednesday night, when I actually asked people to record the video on the Wednesday morning, I asked them to record the video on the Wednesday morning. Instead of having like 50 people show up for that live cast, we had something like 20 people, 19 or 20 people show up on the live cast, because so many people bottled it at the point of doing a video. And it was a huge realization. I mean, I know that people are shy in front of the camera. I know that from the work that we do in the toolbox. But it was a huge realization for me that in future, when I'm doing a challenge, the last thing I'm going to ask people to do now is record a video of themselves, because so many people, not only will they not do it, but then they're afraid to come back because of the embarrassment that they haven't done it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So we lost traction. We lost a whole lot of people off of that challenge simply because they were asked to record a video. So you weren't alone sitting there in the van thinking to yourself,
They were probably still in car park videoing themselves. They probably, if they weren't like me, they were probably there an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's people just bottling it. I mean, one of our better known members for video was is Steve Palmer. He did a video that went viral. It was, you know, got millions and millions of views. He ended up on ITV, was in the Sun newspaper and all of that, for the video that he created, and it was on socket test, not socket test, socket protectors, the protective covers. It was a video on that, and it just went mad. It went viral. But I remember, and I have video footage of Steve Palmer when he very first came to us about having training on video, and you literally, if you turn the camera onto him, he would literally just back away, physically just jerk away from it, because he was not, just shy, embarrassed, didn't want to do it. And so many people are like that. And we do, as you know, we do have training to help people with that. So, right, okay, well done. Thank you for the brief overview. Guys, if you do have any questions for Matt, get them in. I'm going to go through now. I'm going to ask Matt to pick random numbers between 1 and 20, and we're going to go through the questions that I have here for him. So if you have any questions for Matt and you'd like to hear the answer to them, if you're interested in digging a little bit deeper, then please do type your question in while we're going through this. Right, Matt, pick a number between 1 and 20.
Number 2.
Number 2. What is your favorite tool and why?
Favorite tool? Probably got a few, depending on what I'm doing. So, what I'd say, clamp meter when you're testing, because it just makes everything easier. Cable rods, just for anything really. They're probably best tool. I remember when I bought them, they were like 160 quid, and I thought, I spend 160 quid on some rods, but they've just got me out of so many messes at times. And then the other one is probably, number 2, the Gecko, the magnetic. Some people might have seen it. It's got a magnet on it, and then you put it in soffits, and then you pull it along magnets, so you can hide cables a lot easier. And then there's the camera, what you can attach to the rods. That were expensive, but that saved me loads of times. Not getting sponsored by Super Rod Route like that, but they are decent qualities.
You guys are spoilt. Some of the older members or older people watching will know what I'm talking about when I talk about a coat hanger and a length of MMT2 lid. That back in the day was our rods, and I remember going through my whole apprenticeship with that as a tool. It was a coat hanger with a hook on the end of it and a length of MMT2, the lid of an MMT2, and the coat hanger hooked onto it. Anybody remember that? So long before we ever had the likes of the fiberglass rods or the super rods, any of those. And we still managed. We still got it done. Somebody just mentioned a wall plug tool. Stephen, yeah. Lump hammer and a roll plug tool for drilling rather than... God, yeah, look, the hand still remembers the motion, hey? So for those of you who didn't have electric drills, we our battery operated drills. If we were out in the country and we had no juice on site, it was a roll plug tool and a lump hammer. Hey ho,
how things change.
Absolutely. Sean,
I don't think we are electricians now. I don't think we are spoiled in a lot of ways. Even like with social media, has a negative side, but if you've ever got a problem, there's always somewhere to go. Where sometimes you'd have phoned someone, but now you can just put it in YouTube. You'll find it. You can go on to even ToolBox has got a technical page. You can find it there. I did use support on electricians community, but no, that's like a no now, because there's just people there who just ridicule people, and there's just no need for it. So yeah, YouTube, if there's anything, if you want to ever improve on what you do, I've improved a hell of a lot as an electrician just by watching YouTube electricians on how they do things. And sometimes what they do is not correct, but if you can just take little bits of it, I'm 100% a lot better electrician for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad information out there, but if you're prepared to work your way through stuff, there's a lot of really good information out there.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
well. It's just about being discerning. But you're right. I wouldn't say spoiled, but we are better off these days. We've got access to so much more. And you talked about social media as an aid for helping you to find out information, but it's also fantastic for getting business as well, for marketing yourself.
Yeah,
you know, you again, go back in the day, it was all about, really was all about word of mouth, word I hate use at the moment, not because I hate word of mouth, but I hate the way it's used at the moment. But it was all about word of mouth, or it was all about the Yellow Pages or the Thompson directory or the local newspaper. Whereas now there's so much more that you can actually do.
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
Pick another number, sir.
What is it? How many have we got?
Out of 20.
20. 18.
Number 18 is. I don't want them all to be all about the toolbox, but what were you charging before joining the toolbox, and what are you charging now?
Before the toolbox, I would just charging myself out to make a wage. Really, it weren't about. There were never a profit side of it. I probably used to look back on what I used to earn working for a JRB company, which weren't a great deal. So I used to think, oh well, this will take me a day. I'll charge that, which sometimes you wouldn't have been able to survive. But now, my minimum charge is £70 minimum charge, and my day rate is, and I probably still haven't nailed this yet, but I look at what I need. I want to take out of it, and I always just think £250 a day. But then I add profit onto that, so I'm free 310 a day. But if I get finished I'm normally finished work by 3-4 o'clock. But I'd charge that if I finished at 2 o'clock. So when I'm doing CCTV installs, I'm always charging a full day at 310, and then I've got someone who works for me, and I make profit on him as well. But before, my prices were all low. They weren't consistent at all, and I was probably a little bit worried. If someone had told me before I joined Toolbox I'd have been charging £70 to go round and change a light switch, I'd have said it's not possible. Sometimes it's not round where I live, and I know that shouldn't have a great deal on it. There's just by talking to people straight away, you get an inkling if they're going to be paying for that, and it's like a little bit of a game now. I find it a bit of a game. But straight away, an inquiry comes in, just their wording on things and on Facebook. When I like the one, I'm looking for an amazing, reliable, cheap electrician. And you're like, but then people tag me, and I'm like, well, what? Don't tag me.
Yeah, you can have amazing and reliable, but not the cheap.
yeah, it's cheap. And like there's always the same electrician around my area, and he just puts his name down for absolutely everything. It got to opening of a crisp packet. It's like crazy. It's like you just wait for it. But I don't want to be known as that. But probably before the toolbox, I'd have probably done any job.
Yeah. And that is a mindset. It's a complete mindset issue, isn't it? And it's understanding that there's a lot of power in saying no to stuff. Yeah. Instead of ending up being a busy fool chasing your arse around, you're being powerful by saying no. I'm not going to do that because I'm saving myself for this. Yeah. And when this comes in, you're actually available to do it, and it's worth more to you, and your peace of mind is better, and your profits are better, and so on and so forth.
Definitely.
Just quickly, we've got Amarit asking a question. Now, Amarit, do me a favor, first of all, mate. Go up and click on the StreamYard link. Either above or beside the video, you'll find a link for StreamYard, Amarit. Amarit's one of our newer members, but he's coming up at the moment as Facebook user, and his question to you is, how long did it take you to get to this stage where you're at the moment? And I think, in fairness, we're saying you started your business about, what, 5-6 months ago?
I probably started.
Oh, no, sorry. No, you joined the Toolbox 5-6 months ago.
Yeah. I started, would it have been about June, July, something like that. Yeah, I think, yeah, something like that. And while I were off, I weren't in the Toolbox, but it was a case of just banging posts out on Facebook, and then I had a book, and I was just writing people down, and I just said to people, when everything lifts, I'll come and see you. But yeah, and then I'd say from June, July, it's been pretty consistent work-wise. But what I used to do, I used to work like 3 and 4 days because we didn't have childcare in lockdown. So when I started it, I was pretty lucky that I didn't need to fill 5 days. I could just, I thought, I need to fill 3 days there. So there weren't a lot of pressure. Lockdown for me, I know lockdown has affected a hell of a lot of people and it's been terrible. But lockdown for me kind of took the pressure off a little bit. There were other pressures with home life and different things like that. But as a business, it was good for me because I could just do it in stages. And even now, I still do the 4 days in a day quoting because I just think if I go quoting after I've been in a loft all day or stuff like that, I'm not in the right frame of mind. Yeah. I can't give value to the customer. I'm more like thinking, oh, can't wait to go home and have my tea and stuff like that. But if I found with Doctor's Diary, I give people an hour, and because my work is so local, I can actually give that person probably 45 minutes. So you can go show them previous work and just add a bit of value. If someone, I probably tell people too much on quotes, and I've had that recently where a guy on my road, five doors up, came round, and I basically told him how I'd do it, sent him a quote, get the normal or and an R and stuff like that. A week later, he'd done job, and it looked horrific, absolutely horrific. And I just messaged him because I knew he'd done it, and I just says, "Oh, I've seen you've done lights. Have you just done that as a temporary job?" And he says, "Oh no, that's a finished job," and it's just horrific, just absolutely horrific. But probably do give so much information out on quotes, but I think that's just my personality. I want to let people know what they're getting for the money. Probably give them an actual tutorial, but never mind.
No worries. Pick another number, sir.
4.
Number 4. What hobbies do you have, and what is it about them that interests you?
Football, main one. Obviously not playing, but going and watching football. My little lad plays football. He were at Doncaster Academy, football academy for a while. Then he went into just normal Sunday league. Then I fell into that trap like most parents do. We're actually coaching team, which is horrific. But yeah, there's that football and golf. Play a bit of golf. Most of my friends do, so it's just a natural thing to do. Been abroad a few times playing golf, so yeah, just get to chill out.
Very good. I know that people can't do football at the moment during lockdown, but can you play golf at the moment?
No, can't play golf at the moment. I don't know why, because I'm nowhere near anybody most of the time. I'm at bushes looking for my ball, so that 2 meter rule is good for me because the only time I see him is when we're putting in and when we're teeing off. Most of the time I'm on my own, so it's quite a lonely sport.
So what's the funniest or the worst shot you've taken in golf then?
We once played in Spain, and you had to hit over a ravine, and my friend was videoing it, and I must have took about 4 or 5 practice swings. Absolutely perfect. Then went to my shot, just went about 2 yards, and just saw it in slow motion, just going down. So yeah, I wouldn't say amazing, but it's taking part what counts.
No, absolutely. Okay, next question.
Number 15.
Number 15. Oh, you're making me scroll for this one. If you had an aha moment since starting your business, what was it?
As in from what I've learned from the toolbox, or just
in general, from your business in general? It could be the toolbox, could be anything. What one thing have you gone, yeah?
I'd say not. The doctor's diary has been amazing for my business. That's really changed it because I know what I'm doing, and I look professional to people when they phone up because I can ask them a time, and just not trying to do everything, not trying to like, oh yeah, I'll do garden lighting, I'll do CCTV, do rewires, stuff like that. Just choose what you want to do, choose what's profitable, and then go from there. Like rewires and stuff like that, I've got no interest in whatsoever. It doesn't interest me. I like to do jobs what's profitable. Just CCTV is profitable for me. We only fit decent equipment, so go in, get it done, looks good, and we get good reviews for it. So yeah, just do things you're good at.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go and open things up to the members, or to everybody, to ask you a question in a few minutes. We're going to ask you maybe 3 more questions, and then we'll go over to the audience. So guys, if you have any questions, guys and girls, if you have any questions, now is your opportunity to type them in. If there's anything you want Matt to answer, I'm going to ask him 3 more questions, and then we're going to come across to you guys. So next number, Matt.
Number 1.
Number 1. When did you first realize you wanted to be an electrician, and what was the catalyst? What made you want to do it?
I'll be honest with you. When I first got into the industry, I worked for a big company. I worked for a small company, then I went to a big company. When I worked at the big company, I was probably 19, 20, so I was earning a really good wage compared to the apprentices of my age. So that was really good. I met a lot of friends in that company. So, but to be an actual electrician, I would say, is when my little boy became poorly. The company I was working for at the time weren't very good, and it became poorly really quickly, and I had to probably have off 8 weeks, and then after that, I had to have every Friday off to travel down to the hospital for dialysis. And that company didn't treat me very well. Not treat me very well. I just thought, if I was in their position, I could have treated a little bit better. So then, yeah, I think I wanted to be an electrician when he was poorly, because it made me have more choices. I knew I'd never have to work away again, because I just work local. So yeah, I'd say to become an electrician is when my little boy became ill, because I've always had it in my head that he will need. He's had a transplant. He had a transplant 18 months ago. He's still fairly poorly now. He's in hospital at the moment. But I always thought, when he becomes an age where he needs a job, he would need someone who's quite understanding, as he has a lot of hospital appointments. So I thought, if I could create a company where he could come into, he could learn a trade, or even if he don't want to be an electrician, something within that company, and there was somewhere for him to go, and it'd be okay, and I'd be understanding, because I've seen the other side of it when people aren't understanding. So yeah.
Without mentioning the organization, what was it you were doing before becoming an electrician?
I was our electricians mate for 17 years.
Wow.
So it was daft, really, because I was doing the job as an electrician. I was sometimes running areas, and I weren't the electrician. To be honest, it was just I just got into a rut where I worked away quite a lot back in the day at the start, and I were always earning good money. So there were never a need to be an electrician until you think about running your own company, right. and then that's really why I did it.
Okay, next number.
17.
17. What is or what was your least successful marketing campaign?
There's been a lot. I can remember running an advert on my local village, asking people to take pictures. It was ridiculous, really, but asking people to take pictures of their fuse board, because it came to a point where all the fuse board, it was good, but it didn't get much traction. But all the fuse boards in the area, because all the houses were built at the same time, all of a sudden became past. They needed retesting, basically, and I thought it was going to be a really good advertisement, and it just didn't get nothing. And I've also done ones where, before I understood Facebook ads, where I put a certain amount of money in, and probably people in Portsmouth were probably seeing it, and just wasting money, just doing stuff like that. And I'd say, yeah, the local one, and then the one what should have been local, what weren't local.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people make that mistake on Facebook, as we see daily. When you have other electricians' posts showing up in your timeline.
I actually message them now, and I never used to, because I just think you're just wasting money. Because I actually go into it, see where they're from, and just think, I'm sure they don't want to be working where I am, and just say, look, you're doing it wrong.
I hope you're messaging them with a link to the toolbox.
Yeah, to be honest, I need to up my game on the affiliate link. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge opportunity there for members. Right, final question, sir. Make it a good one.
Number 20.
Number 20. Going for the last one. Okay. What's your favorite movie and why do you like it?
Favorite movie? It's that favorite. I forgot the name. It's the Leonardo DiCaprio one where when he's the stock exchange. What's that called now? It's a true story.
Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, that one. Perfect. Got a bit of everything.
I've met him.
Really?
Belford, yeah. Interesting character. But yeah, good movie as well. I like the movie.
Yeah, really good.
But again, very, very Hollywood compared to what the real life story is.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. 100%. But yeah, I'd say that one, or the not films, but no, like the short clips. I think you put one on the other day, and I more or less listen to it most mornings. You know, the motivational one, the Denzel Washington one.
Yeah.
I think that's class, and I think you should listen to that. It does G you up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. I like first thing in the morning when I'm. I have to admit this live on a live cast. When I'm in the shower, I just love listening to stuff like that.
Yeah, the class.
Get myself ready in the morning. I just think it really kicks off the morning. It just.
Yeah, they're really good. Really good. Yeah. I'm into stuff like that. I think it should be like books and stuff like that. That at Middleton, done a few of them, and then I did see The Secret.
Yeah,
that's quite deep, but yeah, good.
It's an interesting trait with Toolbox members. I'm going to do a very quick plug here for the Toolbox as well, by the way. But it's a very interesting trait of Toolbox members is many of them are not just interested in business development; they're also interested in personal development. So things like reading the books like The Secret or the E-Myth or anything to do in relation to Tony Robbins' personal development, that type of thing. So you find a lot of the Toolbox members are very much of that kind of mindset, which is interesting because I think once you've sort of mastered, you can't say mastered because we never do master it, but once you're on top of personal development, it tends to drag along the business development with it. You know, if you're interested in moving forward yourself, learning and educating and growing and developing, and even the whole thing of not slagging off other people or putting people down, but actually helping people up, all of that kind of thing, all these traits with toolboxes, I think is is also what helps them to develop the business as well. Said I was going to do a quick plug. Saturday morning, so we're broadcasting out into not just the Facebook group, the members group, but also the open group and a Facebook page. If you're sitting out there and you are not yet a ToolBox member, and you've been following along with stuff that we've been doing over the last couple of years and that, then the question is, why are you not yet a ToolBox member? The ToolBox is a community of like-minded business people, primarily electricians, but we have other trades in here as well. Bottom line is, if your market is homeowners, estate agents, letting agents, or anybody who manages a portfolio of properties, regardless of the service that you do, locksmith, plumber, heating engineer, electrician, then the ToolBox has got a lot to offer you in terms of helping you to develop and grow your business. We've got a huge amount of success stories inside of the ToolBox, and many of them are talking about the ToolBox on a daily basis out on other platforms as well. And we have our regular spotlight here on members. Today you see Mathew. So if it's something that you're interested in, then give it a shot. All you've got to do is visit www.jdewan.com/toolbox. You'll see what it's all about there. There is a monthly fee for membership. If you decide to have a go, have a look at it and see, I guarantee you a full 100% money back guarantee if you try it for the first month and you decide that it's not for you. Now, some time ago, I used to do free membership. I used to do, come and have a look, and then if you're happy, carry on. I also used to do £1 memberships. Come and try it for £1, and if you like it, then carry on. I stopped doing that simply because we got too many tire kickers at the time. People who were poking around but never ever really serious about growing their business. Never serious about it. So my promise to you is, if you're a serious business owner, if you're a serious person that wants to grow your business and you invest in yourself, pay for the first month. Have a look at the ToolBox. This is nothing. You've got nothing to lose here. Pay for the first month. Have a look at the ToolBox. You come to me 30 days later and say, James, it's not for me, or I don't think I can learn anything, or I'm not interested. I guarantee you, without any quibble, query, question, well, I say any question, I will ask a question. The question will be, what could I do to improve it? That will be my question. But nobody will force you to stay. So that's the offer. Give it a try. Try it for a month. If you don't like it, then you will get a complete refund. But the bottom line is, I'm currently running at, I think it's 311 students, 311 members inside of the ToolBox. My drive for the first 6 months of this year is to get it to 500 members, and I will be doing that. We restrict it to one person per postcode, so there can only be one person within your postcode area who is a ToolBox member. Now, shouldn't that be you, is my thinking. If you've got any questions, any queries, post them. I'm sure ToolBox members will respond. If you need to speak to me personally, then email me, james@jdewan.com. But if you want to give it a shot, go for jdewan.com/toolbox, jdewan.com/toolbox, and have a look. Right, let's see what questions people have for you, sir. Adam Sedrington, what would you say, this question for you, Matt, what would you say has been your best marketing return on investment since starting your business?
ToolBox. 100%. 100. Just joining the ToolBox. Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean by the question, or as in campaigns, or? Yeah,
I think he probably. I mean, thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for saying the ToolBox. But yeah, I think he's probably talking about campaign. What's been your best return on investment since starting? So for me, I would read that is, if you've done leaflets and you've spent, I don't know, 200 quid on doing leaflets, but you've earned back £7,000, or if you've done Facebook ads and you spent £1 a day, but you're getting £1,000 a day as a result. What has been the best return on investment? And I appreciate you saying the ToolBox. Thank you.
That's next month's membership fee, that. So I'd say from the last challenge we did, for the last challenge, because even though I'm in the ToolBox, I really grasp the ideal customer out of that, and then from that added it to my campaigns now, and that's still running, and I'm actually getting paid. Yeah, with the page likes, the last one. So instead of just getting page likes from absolutely everyone now, because what I used to do with Facebook is put a post out, and then I would share that post into all the selling pages. So what I'd actually get is, and at the time I thought it were amazing, I'd look at the stats on it, and the reach on it would be like, some of it were 14,000, because I was sharing it to that many selling pages. But it's only now I realise I was probably wasting all of that, because they're probably not people who I'd want to do work for. And they're probably not, they just weren't my ideal customer. And it weren't until that challenge that I realised that that was just the wrong thing to do. Instead of just putting it on my page with the right information for it to hit the right people. So yeah, I'll probably say that one, doing that has been my biggest success, because it's hitting the people who I want it to hit, instead of hitting people who still want to be charging people £20 to come and do an outside socket and stuff like that. So yeah, so I hope that answers the question. Excellent.
Yeah. I've got another one from Adam as well. And that is, where do you see your business in the next 5 years?
Myself, I'd like to stop doing everything in the business. I'd like to let the people who do what they do and they're good at delegate it to different people. So I don't want my business to go big, because I always want to be in control of quality, because I think sometimes some people go big, and then what you actually know, I want to be known as is good quality that can go. So I'd like to probably have one electrician and one apprentice to try and get a little bit back, and myself, and hopefully my role would be more going out meeting clients like I do on a Wednesday, doing the quoting, and then as and when I need to step in and go on the tools. So yeah, one electrician, one apprentice, and then me doing the quoting and stepping in when I need to.
Excellent. Worthy goals. That is all of the questions, sir. So and I can't believe it's 12 o'clock already. Where'd that time go?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's not bad at all, is it, mate?
No, not bad. Not bad to say. I never used to do video.
Yeah.
My wife says the other day I'd put a post on, and I put it on the Toolbox page first before I posted it onto my Facebook. My wife, I didn't tell her I posted it, but my wife saw it and she went, "What is happening to you?" I went, "What do you mean?" She went, "The one bit you didn't even want us to be an electrician, and now you've got a YouTube channel, you talking to people, tell them how to fix CCTV. She went, it's crazy. You didn't want to have your picture took on holiday 5 years ago, and now I'm doing videos." So yeah.
And you're making money. I mean, how dare you?
I know, crazy. And I'm enjoying myself. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Just got another question coming in. So actually, a couple more now. Bear with me. So Neil Brown, what's the biggest thing that's holding your business back?
Me, probably my mindset. Yeah. Yeah. It is probably myself, and it's letting certain things go, as in like letting people do, like taking your calls, stuff like that. I think with name I've got in the local community now, I could easily expand it, but I'll be totally honest. At the minute, with how my little boy is in family life, it's probably running at a good how I need it to run. When things stabilize a little bit, and then that may be the time to make it go bigger. But yeah, probably me and my mindset, and being trusting in letting people go on to jobs and doing a good job and still keeping standards as they are. So
excellent. Got one in from Kevin Doy. What can you realistically achieve now or in the near future that was a dream or unrealistic 5 years ago?
That's a good one. Cheers, Kev.
Curveball right at the end, hey?
Yeah, he's had his time on here as well, so I didn't get a chance to get it back. Yes, we achieved now. I think, to be honest with you, I think I'm doing. I think just the freedom, what I've got now. Back 5 years ago, working for a company, you could be working and then they just say on like Friday, you're going working away. You're doing this, you're doing that, because we used to do a lot of shop fitting. So back then, you could just get put on a shop, but then the first week you'd work Monday to Thursday, and then the next week you'd go down and you'd work 2 consecutive weeks, which I hated. Could earn quite a lot of money, but absolutely hated. So 1 second, sorry, just decline that. So yeah, I think realistic. I think I'm doing what I'm doing. I hope I've gone on a bit of tangent, but just the freedom it brings, what I'm doing now, what I can achieve. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing, to be honest with you. Pretty settled in what I'm doing. I'm working for the right people I want to work for, and I'm doing the work I want to do. So fairly happy really.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to call it to a halt there, as we are now running slightly over on time. But thank you very much for your
brilliant
time. And what I would like to do is get everybody to give us a round of applause for Mathew. We know how to do that, toolboxers. So hit the heart and the heart and the thumb. Just hit that on rapid succession as we say thank you to Matt. Matt, thank you very much, mate. I'm going to crack on and just do the wind-up section here.
Brilliant.
To just finalize, let people know what's coming up over the coming week within the toolbox, the coming weeks and months within the toolbox. Once again, thank you very much for your time and your attention, mate. Is there anything I can do?
Thank
just
you.
Shout and let me know.
Brilliant.
We'll talk to you again very, very soon. Cheers, buddy.
See you later.
Okay, so up and coming in the toolbox now, over the, in May, 15th of May is our next workshop. Now, that workshop is all about email marketing. The last one we did was all about YouTube. This one's all about email marketing. We're going to look at the type of emails that you should be sending out, how to send out the mails, the type of tools that we use, which in essence is Aweber for our mileage. We're going to look at how you can get your emails opened rather than just deleted or you being accused of spamming your customers. It's a full day workshop for members. You don't need to register for it. It will be live in the member area, starting at about 10:30 and going on until about 4:30 in the afternoon. So that is the next workshop. For those of you who aren't aware, we run a workshop every quarter for our members with a new marketing topic. Each quarter, we drill down into a specific area. So the next challenge is starting on the 26th of April. That will be the digital leaflet challenge. The registration page for that will be up after this weekend. And this is one that you do need to register for. It's open to the public. On the registration page, as I said, will go live. We're going to take somebody from end to end running a specific Facebook advertisement, which we call our digital leaflet advertisement content ad. It runs for 5 days and you learn the complete strategy end to end. If you as a Toolbox member want to be featured in the spotlight as a member spotlight, just as you've seen with Mathew today, so that you get to know other Toolbox members and how they're progressing with their business and what's going on in their lives. If you want to be one of those on the spotlight, then please do email me, james@jdewan.com, and I will put you on the list. I have got a short list of about 6 people at the moment, but I'm happy to add you to the list if it's something that you're interested in doing. Also, as you know, we do the expert spotlight from time to time where I bring in one of the Toolbox experts. And within the Toolbox, we have a range of experts, people who deal with LinkedIn, with sales, with Instagram, with HR, with GDPR, health and fitness, a whole range of experts that we have inside of the toolbox. So if there's a topic or an individual that you would like to hear from on our expert panel, then please let me know, and I will get those up here as well in the spotlight. So for the remainder of this week or the next 7 days, what I'd like you to do is think about what you want to achieve between now and the next time that we talk, and that this is open to members and non-members alike. So please just type in the box in the comment section, what do you want to achieve over the next 7 days for you and your business? What do you want to achieve over the next 7 days? Take a second and just type that in for us. There's a lot of mileage in writing down your commitment. There tends to be a correlation between people who actually manage to achieve and get things done once they've written it down. So if there's something that you are thinking about that you think you need to get done this week, whether it's finalizing a leaflet campaign, whether it's agreeing to have an ad run in a local community magazine, whether it's finalizing the work that you do on your ideal customer, whether it's working out your minimum charge, what's the one thing you want to commit to this week that you want to get done? And Amarit, who's working with me on a one-to-one basis, has just said the tasks that I have given him. Good. Well, if you can get those all done in the next 7 days, that would be fantastic. So what is it you want to achieve this week? What do you want to do this week? Type it in, please, as I start to wind this up. Monday, our next member Q&A Monday evening is at 7:30. Every Monday we do a Q&A session for our members, an opportunity to ask any questions about your marketing, about business in general, or indeed the membership program itself. This week, the Q&A session is with Steve Oakey. I alternate every other week with Steve. This coming week is with Steve, 7:30. So make sure you have that in your diary. On Wednesday morning, we are back for our Wednesday morning training, our Wake Up Wednesday. This week, we're concluding the Facebook overview that we've been doing. Last week we looked at Facebook business pages and how to use a Facebook business page within your business. This week we're going to look at Facebook groups and how you should be using, and yes, you should have a Facebook group as well as your Facebook page. So we're going to be looking at the strategy of using your Facebook group. That's our Wednesday morning training, this Wake Up Wednesday. And then, of course, we're back again to do this all over again on Saturday of next week. So with that all said, guys, if you've had some value out of today, then please do let me see some thumbs, hearts, and smiley faces as I play out the theme music and say thank you very much for your time and your attention this morning. Keep the conversation going both inside the member area and on the open pages and groups as well. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. If you want to be in the spotlight, let me know.
We will fight for will fight for the right to stay alive. We are breathing, we are breathing. We will fight for the right to stay alive.